What up, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with the 2012 MLB prediction video. Saw everybody in the TTC doing this, so I decided why not hop on here and do it. I'm just going to go through each division winner, the Cy Young of each league, and the MVP of each league. Going to try my best here, and I want some feedback what y'all think on my predictions. I have one thing that's not necessarily what I've been seeing, but I predict is going to happen. Let's go ahead and get started. I got one of the AL East. I have the Red Sox. I believe Bobby Valentine's going to help the team regroup. He only has probably a few years left in his managerial career, even though this is his first year, but he's kind of old, so I see him there about 3 or 4 years in the max. But I believe they regroup this year and battle the Yanks and end up winning the AL East. In the Central, I got the Tigers winning. They had that big acquisition with Prince Fielder, made their lineup so much better. They're probably the best team in the AL right now. Depends on the bottom end of the rotation. They got the Cy Young MVP back, Justin Verlander. I believe they will win the AL Central. Winning the AL East, I got the Angels. That acquisition of Albert Pujols is huge. They don't know if they should play where they should play Kendry Morales. He had like 20 home runs a few years ago, and if you got a guy that's hitting 25 plus home runs a year and he's not necessarily going to start for your team and trying to find at bats, that's not a bad thing. They had the accusation of C.J. Wilson that made their rotation a little bit better, so I got them one of the East. It's kind of weird this year on the wild card things. I don't necessarily understand it that well. I do know there's 2 wild card winners. The first wild card winner, I got the Yankees. I'm hoping the Rays get it, but I believe the Yankees get it because I hate the Yankees. In the wild card 2 spot, I got Texas Rangers. They've made it to the World Series about the last 25 years. They haven't won it. They always have a good team. Ron Washington, he might snort crack, but he's a good manager. And I believe the Rangers just have too much, and too much to be knocked down from that World Series loss last year. They had that in the bag, man. Go ahead and predict the MVP and Cy Young of the league. For the MVP of the AL, I got Miguel Cabrera. And the Cy Young, I have John Lester. John Lester's kind of a homer pick, but he's ready for a good year. He's due for one. Miguel Cabrera, he's already a great hitter, put up great numbers last year, and with the accusation of Prince Fielder, that makes him that much better. Yeah, man. Now moving on to the NL. One of the NL East, I got the Philadelphia Phillies. They're kind of aging, but they get Chase Utley back. He was hurt last year. They have the sickest rotation in baseball. They added Jonathan Papelbon. They probably have the best pitching in baseball. But yeah, I think they have too much, and they win it. The NL East is going to be really interesting this year. You got the Braves, you got the Phillies, you got the new Miami Marlins, who's loaded over the offseason. You got the Nationals, who are on the rise, and the Mets, who are kind of on the decline. They're probably going to be the bottom feeders of the league this year, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting division. Probably the most interesting division in baseball. They're going to be battling out the American League East for the best division. The NL Central, I got the Cincinnati Reds winning the division this year. This division's dropped a lot with the losses of Prince Fielder and Albert Pujols, but I mean, it is what it is. The Reds have a lot of young talent on the rise. It really depends on how much they have the offense. It just depends. They can go as far as their pitching brings them, if that makes sense. One of the West, I got the San Francisco Giants. They don't ever have the most talented squad, but somehow they always figure out ways to win when it's needed most. Like they won the World Series a few years ago. Were they predicted to win the World Series? No. Were they predicted to make the playoffs? No, because the NL West is always the worst division in baseball. But once you get to the playoffs, nothing matters. If you get to the playoffs, anybody can win. Minor league teams if they're able to go to the playoffs, to go and end up winning. It just doesn't matter. It just matters how you do from the playoffs to the end, and that's what the Giants always do, and that's what they do best. Now for the 2 wild card winners, I was kind of going back and forth between the Braves and the Marlins, but I do have the Marlins winning the first wild card spot. They just reloaded, not necessarily reloaded, but just added a lot of talent on their team. Got Jose Reyes. Finally convinced Hanley Ramirez to move to third base. Just everybody on their team is really freaking good. Crap, Mike Stanton is his name. I don't know what he changed his name to, something retarded, but he's only 20-something, like 22 years old, and he hit 25 home runs last year. And they got Gabby Sanchez, their first baseman. He's hitting 20-plus homers a year. Got John Buck, who always is my sleeper pick in a fantasy draft because he's always leading the – somehow, for some reason, he's always leading the majors in home runs in April, and then he hits like 2 the rest of the year. But, I mean, he has potential, even though he never finishes strong. Then you got Emilio Bonifacio in center field, steals 95 bases a year. I can't really think of who their left fielder is, but then they added Mark Burley to the rotation, and they signed Keith Bell, and they just all around reloaded. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a transitional year for them, but I think they have enough talent to make it a transitional year into a successful year. So, yeah. In the second wild card spot, this is one of my surprises. I got the Pittsburgh Pirates. When I was looking over all the teams, just nobody strikes to me like as the team that won't win the division, but will be right up there just with the other talent. And there's just not this year. There's not one team. You know, West is down. The East already got the Marlins, and then you've got the Central, and Cardinals are down. The Brewers are going to be down, and I just see the Pirates somehow coming out with the wild card spot this year. I mean, they got young talent all over the field. They got young pitching. They added A.J. Burnett, but I think he said he got hurt. But they've been on the rise the past few years. Got to a 500 ball club. They haven't won the division in 95 years. I don't think they've had a winning season in like 8 million years. But I actually believe the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to go to the playoffs, but not go far. But that's a big step for the improvement of their ball club. And for the MVP of the National League, this is another surprise. I got Andrew McCutchen, because I believe this guy is one of the most talented players in baseball. He's just stuck on the Pirates, but if he leads the Pirates to the playoffs, he's going to be right up there in the MVP race. I think he has a great chance of winning it because he's hitting 25 home runs a year, stealing 20-plus bases, hitting over 300, playing great center field, whatever he plays in the outfield. So I believe if he is the heart and soul of that Pittsburgh Pirates team, and he signed that new contract, so he's going to be wanting to prove to everybody that he is one of the best players in baseball, and I believe he will do so. And for the Cy Young of the National League, I got Tim Lincecum. He had that kind of down year last year, but I think he's going to be on the rise this year. He's still a young kid. I look older than him, but got that mean fastball, and I believe he's going to win the Cy Young. And for the I'm not going to go through all the playoffs predictions, but for the American League champs, I got the Detroit Tigers, and for the NL champs, I got the San Francisco Giants. Like I said, the Giants, nobody ever picks them to win anything, but they always prove people wrong because they always can play in the playoffs better than anybody else and know how to win games when it matters the most. But with that said, I had the Detroit Tigers winning the 2012 Major League Baseball World Series. I believe they're just too talented that they might have overpaid for Prince Fielder a little bit. It came out of nowhere, but I mean, a World Series, if you pay, the World Series is worth it. Whatever you pay to win that championship, it is worth it. So that is it for me, guys. Hope you enjoy these predictions. Leave me some feedback below. Try not to drag this video out too long, but just let me know what you think of this, guys. And have a great day. Go Sox, Roll Tide, and go Titans to you.